Welcome on in, everybody, to Alarm Fantasy Football. I'm Andrew Cooper. He's Howard Bender, and today's the day. Once again, waiver wires. Time to clean it up. All right. Tough week of football here. A lot of injuries. Playoffs right around the corner. Folks in the Scott Fish Bowl, I think playoffs start this week. We got to clean it up. Clean it up. We got it all for you today. As always with my articles, those are both up. There's one big article that focuses on the best guys now and long term, and then there's another article that gets into the nitty gritty with streamers and stashes. The streamers and stashes, guys that you can only start for 1 week, really. And there's a couple of those this week that are literally only 1 week starters. And then you've got the guys that you can't start, but you want to put them on the back burner just in case they pop. Guys for us like Darren Waller, Rondé Gadsden, Woody Marks.
Keaton Mitchell.
Keaton Mitchell's now in the article. Those guys have all come from those articles to produce great results. So one way to stay ahead of the game. But here's the thing. In this show, we go through and we share all that information with you. We do our best to get you guys locked and loaded. Get your questions in the chat. We see you guys, Jason and Chris and KJ, that were in here bright and early. But before we get to the chat, before we get to the questions, just want to say, Howard Bender, how we doing, man? How was your weekend? How'd your squads do?
I'll tell you what, this was an interesting week because the hot streak that was the prop betting, right? Walking into this week, I was 30-10 in prop bets, and then I got thumped. I got kicked in the huevos rancheros on a number of guys because the chalk didn't hit. That's one of the things that, and I wrote my article in the Weekly Bender talking about how you react to weeks where the chalk doesn't hit. Now, yeah, there were certain chalky plays that everybody was on for DFS and stuff like that. But, when you're sitting there and let's just say Joe Flacco, passing yards prop, right, touchdown pass prop, Jalen Warren, he left with an ankle injury. His prop didn't hit. Woody Marks was an absolute disaster as the Tennessee Titans kind of jumped up and really gave the Texans a run for their money there. And so those didn't hit. And that's just, the wave that happens. We made up for it last night. I gave you guys 4 picks for underdog for Monday Night Football, and all 4 of them hit, as well as the Cowboys minus the 3.5, as well as the under, which we just gave out to you on the show over at Fantasy Alarm on Sirius XM. But from a season-long fantasy standpoint, baby, I got to tell you, domination. And in spots where I didn't even think I had a chance. And I was just telling you, we were just talking about this before we got on, the GST League, the Greenwich Street Tavern League, which is, it's a big money league. And it's, it's a lot of heavy hitters. It's Adam Ronis and Chris Vaccaro, Anthony Aniano and Scott Engel share a team. There's numerous heavy hitters in there. Frank Stamfel's in there. So there's a lot of heavy hitters in there. And I was going into the week as the top point scorer and the team with the best record, but I was playing the second place team, which was Aniano and Engel. And in this league, you get paid out for total points. You get paid out for best record. And then obviously if you win the championship, you can kind of clean sweep it. So I was like, damn, I'm going to lose my best record. I'm going to lose, my lose in total points. And I got to tell you, baby, my team came through thanks to, it was McCaffrey was great. And Drake May was fine. He was solid. But I got to shout out to Michael Wilson.
Yeah.
18 targets, 15 catches, 185 yards. That's a guy we gave you. As soon as Marvin Harrison Jr. found his way into an appendectomy, we were screaming this from the mountaintops. I think we were talking about Michael Wilson on Tuesday or Wednesday.
I was whining about Michael Wilson because I had a team where I lost Brian Thomas Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Pittman was on bye, and then my break glass in case of emergency player, Rashad Bateman, also didn't play. So yes. I had all year in this league. This is a league where the winner, $5,000 goes to the charity of their choice, right? So I'm sitting there, I'm like, I saved all my fab. I had a whole $100. I was going to play from a power position. Instead of using fab, I traded. Remember, I traded Waddle for DeAndre Swift in that league. I've been kind of scrapping to get by. And then I was like, I can't believe I saved my fab this whole time. I got to drop $26 on Michael Wilson. Right? Like and Kendall Valenzuela dropped $18 on him, so I had to spend the money. And you know what? $26, 26 points on the dot, $1 a point. How's that for a deal, right? I'll
Dude,
take
it was phenomenal. It was exactly what you wanted. And the interesting thing here, and I guess we kind of have to address this, is we don't know what Marvin Harrison Jr.'s condition is going to be for this coming week. But in the realm of like watching backup running backs absolutely annihilate soft defenses and then carve out more roles for themselves, how does Jacoby Brissett even think about passing on Michael Wilson now after putting together? Sure, they lost the game, but come on, man. 18 targets, 15 catches, 185 yards, like that carves out a nice, a bigger role for Wilson, I think, moving forward.
No doubt. I mean, you can't again, some situations like that, once he proves that he can do that and have that relationship with him, you really can't put that in the bottom. I mean, when has a guy ever gotten 18 targets and then gone back to getting like 3? So I think even when he comes back, he's going to have a role here. There's a lot of injuries going on, a lot of stuff here. I mean,
Yeah,
Michael
let's hit
Penix
that. That's
done.
that's even more important right now, right?
Yeah,
We told you guys to get those handcuffs ready.
it's brutal out here. Michael Penix done. Calvin Ridley done. Not that you were really using him. Drake London out for an unknown amount of time. Even worse than I mean, maybe not worse because, there's a chance we get some of these guys back, but like there's a lot of injuries where we don't know if they're going to play or not this week. And we probably won't know before waivers run. Like Aaron Rodgers apparently doesn't need surgery. He's going to try and play. Josh Jacobs, we don't know where he's at. Jalen Warren, we don't know where he's at. So we're doing our best here. We're going to give you guys as much contingent information. We're going to answer your questions, give you everything we can here. But again, I'm going to be updating the waiver wire article throughout the day so that, if anything drops, any news pops, make sure you circle back before the end of the day, before you tuck in your sweet little pillows at night in your race car bed. Just check back in and make sure that you have all the updated news. So that's going to be in there. So why don't we jump in and see what the chat's got popping here? Number one here, top one. Before I was even in here, you beat the system, Jason. Jason Williams lost Drake London. Drop Tajay Spears, Pollard, or Mason. I'm assuming that's Jordan Mason, not Mason Taylor, for Christian Watson and half PPR. I'm assuming you're going to start Watson right away. So which of those guys would you drop? Spears, Pollard, or Mason? This is half PPR.
I mean, that's kind of a tough spot because they're pretty much all three of them are fairly equal.
Right.
So the question is do you drop Mason, who's serving as the complementary back to Aaron Jones, or do you just not handcuff the Tennessee backfield? And I'm kind of on that realm of maybe I just don't handcuff the Tennessee backfield. I don't love the players at all. I don't love Pollard. I don't love Spears.
Yeah, I honestly at this stage, I would drop Tony Pollard. And the reason being is that in any sort of half PPR, receptions are more valuable than carries, right? We know it's statistically been proven. Even in standard, actually, it's been proven that a carry is a reception is more valuable than a carry, right? And Tajay Spears has caught a minimum of 3 passes in every single game. Every single game, caught 3, not targets, caught 3. This week he caught 5. And I mean, he still gets 6, 7 carries on top of it. And he plays more.
Outsnapped and out targeted. Also,
right. Yeah. Well, in negative game scripts, he plays more, and I mean, it's the Titans. All the game scripts are going to be negative. So, that's where I'm going there, man. Hold on to Mason, just because I mean, Aaron Jones, already dealing with a shoulder issue, one of the more injury-prone guys. I mean, that's probably the better handcuff there. So that's the way we go. Get Watson in there. Chris Braden saying, "Morning, fellas," and that was everybody that beat the wire. Here we go. We're in the chat now with Marion Hampton coming back after the bye. Want to know if I should drop Vidal for a usable waiver wire this week or hold on to him?
Well, so I would hold on to him. I mean, unless you absolutely need to put somebody into your lineup, because here's the problem. We don't know what Marion Hampton's going to do after the bye week. They've said that they're going to open the practice window after the week 12 bye. Right. So that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't guarantee that he's going to play in week 13. Maybe he's going to play in week 14. So we don't know. Like that's the issue here. So I'm not letting Vidal go. on my roster. Running back running backs, maybe we say it, right? In this economy,
Yeah, yeah.
you can't let them go.
You can't let him go. And how many last year, Howard? How many weeks in a row did people say, "Can I drop Chuba now? Can I drop Chuba now?" And it turned out that it was just not a guy that you should be dropping at all because we don't know. Guys come back and they're not themselves, or sometimes they don't come back at all when they're supposed to come back. It happens all the time. I mean, Chris Godwin came back and he was out momentarily. Jonathan Brooks last year came back and was done pretty quickly. I know it could have been kind of a fluke. I mean, Calvin Ridley just came back for about 15 minutes before he was back and done.
Dude, last year, Joe Mixon was the same thing, right? Joe Mixon, they were like, he's coming back. We're going to activate him off of IR. And then he never came back.
Never came back. Yeah. It's like, so yeah, right now, Vidal is not a guy I'm looking to drop. So see if you can find somebody else, Frederick. If that's your worst player and you have to add a player that goes into your lineup, then you got to do what you got to do. But we're trying not to drop him. Dennis, what up, dude? Thank you for popping in here. There are a lot of amazing and beautiful people in this chat, aren't there?
There are.
Better full PPR waiver wire ad: Michael Wilson, Kayshon Boutte, Darnell Mooney, Luther Burden, Andre Yosivas, or Jalen Coker. This could be a good question to jump in and just hit on the wide receivers real quick.
Yeah, because, I mean, as it stands right now, with Drake London nursing a partially torn PCL, Darnell Mooney has to stand out. I know it's Kirk Cousins. We don't love that it's Kirk Cousins, but we do know that Kirk Cousins can throw the football. So, right. I love Michael Wilson, and I do think that he has earned him his keep. And I would list him second. Booty is third for me, and then Burden is still, Olamide Zaccheaus had 6 drops in 2 games. And so we were like, is Burden going to step up? Are they going to turn around and finally say, let's give this kid a shot here because, Zaccheaus isn't putting in the work that we need. But, they gave him a higher snap count. Did he do anything though?
Yes, that's exactly it. And there's a very clear delineation that everyone needs to keep in mind. Honestly, every time you go to the waiver wire, but especially this time of year, you got to ask yourself, am I adding this player to start him or am I adding this player to stash him? It is a huge difference. It's a huge difference in the amount of money you should spend on the waiver wire as well, right? Because some of these guys, like you mentioned, Andre Yosivas, that's a 1-week play and that's it. Jamar Chase is suspended for spitting on Jalen Ramsey for 1 game. That's it. He's going to come right back and he's going to be himself. Simple as that. But Yosivas is a decent start. He's a decent DFS play for sure because we watched him get 100%, literally 100% of the snaps in some of these games when Higgins or Chase are out, right? So he is a 1-week play, but it's a super expiring asset. So for me, when I go through and look at everyone that's less than 50% rostered, the number one guy that I'm looking to get is still Alec Pierce. Because he was going into his bye week, he didn't get added in as many leagues as he should have. So if he's out there floating around, go get Alec Pierce. After that, we got to be looking at Michael Wilson and Darnell Mooney. Mooney over Wilson because London's probably done for extended period. Do you think, Howard?
Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
Right. It's got to be that way. If you're looking for one real deep 1-week starts, it's Yosivas. And then honestly, as crazy as it sounds, Kadarius Hodge plays the split end role for that team whenever Drake London's out. So if you're in a super deep league, last time London was out, he got 8 targets. So we're talking he's owned 0% of leagues. So that's a guy that's out there for everybody if you need him. For stashes though, Burden's not even my top stash right now. He's a priority stash for sure, but my top stash is Jaden Higgins. This guy for the Texans, he's getting more snaps now. He used to just play in 2 wide receiver sets. Now he's playing more in 3 wide receiver sets. He got 7 targets in back-to-back games. He scored the touchdown the week before last. And if anybody watched the game this week, dude, he got tackled on the 1-inch line. Not tackled. Did one of those plays where he caught a deep over-the-shoulder ball and just stepped out of bounds 1 inch before the end zone. Otherwise, this guy would have had 7 targets back-to-back weeks with touchdowns, and everybody would be all over this guy. Jaden Higgins has it, and he has a path to being a top 2 target on the team because Dalton Schultz is not an insurmountable issue over there, right, Howard? So for me, I'm looking at Higgins, and then I'm looking at Burden, and then I'll take a peek at Adonai Mitchell. I mean, he was getting open, right?
He was getting a couple of times. He just had, the drops was,
not catching the ball, but he's getting open, right? Yeah. So it's on one hand, I look at it and I'm like, okay, well, and again, they're changing the quarterback. So you know what? Maybe that getting open can translate into something. Beyond that, we're stashing guys like you have an IR spot. You got to get Ayuk, Jaden Reed, Godwin in there, and then I mean, there's nobody really that crazy deep leagues. Maybe look at Pat Bryant or Roman Wilson. So that's how we're treating that. KJ, got to
Yeah.
know if you're starting the guy this week, you have to prioritize players that have the upside. But if it's just a pure stash, then maybe Bird, maybe go Bird.
All right.
What's up, everybody?
Before we continue here, we got some paid members who have some questions here, and this all kind of jibes with what we've got going on here. So Rod Elliott wants to know Slayton, Mooney, Higgins, Tillman. Please rank for the ad again. Let's say first he needs to start this guy this week. Who's your ad?
It's got to be Mooney then. Like if you're starting him this week, I know it's Christian. Not Christian Kirk. He is Christian, but it's Kirk Cousins this week. Get Mooney in there for me. Slayton, we don't know what his health is going to be like, so I'm not prioritizing him on waivers. I'm prioritizing him as an ad after the fact once he's like fully cleared to play. And then for stashes, you know what? Cedric Tillman is a decent stash. He was in the honorable mentions. The reason you stash a guy like Tillman is that we don't know who Shedeur Sanders is going to like. What if he just loves throwing it to Tillman? What if he loves throwing it to Fannin? Like, we don't know for sure. So those guys are stashes, but I would go Higgins over him. So I'm ranking these guys Mooney, Higgins, Slayton, Tillman. And if you got to start them this week, possibly Slayton over Higgins. But I'm kind of liking Higgins, man. I mean, 7 targets, back-to-back weeks. What are you going to do?
I'm not going to do anything.
Right?
DM7819 says he's got to start Jacoby Myers and Cade Otton due to bye weeks. Not much on waivers. Cup, Coker, or Okonkwo. Any of those guys worth a look for you? He also needs a kicker. Mike Badgley, Indianapolis. He's coming back from a bye week.
Yeah, people dropped Badger. Definitely grab him. It's probably still Cup because he's playing a big 90% share. I mean, Jacoby Myers over any of those guys for sure. Okonkwo, can't start Okonkwo over Auden. The problem with Okonkwo is he splits the snaps with Gunnar Helm. Like between the two of them, they got like 7 targets or 7 catches or whatever, but they split the snaps right down the middle, 19 routes apiece, and it's just that's not doing it for me, man. It's a shame because if one of those guys got the full role, same thing going on with the Panthers and a lot of these teams. If one guy got the role, then we would love that player, but because they split it, we get nothing. So, and then kickers, Badgley if he's there. Otherwise, I'm looking at Jake Elliott again. I don't know why people aren't rostering this guy. He just kicked 3 field goals for us last week. And then if you're in one of those leagues with the bonuses for long field goals, Cam Little. I mean, guy's got a crazy leg.
Right.
He's kicking in Arizona too this week, which is one of the best places to kick.
You guys can't see it here. It comes off as just fish and FA Coop. But if you guys are looking on the YouTube page right there, so sick from high hopes. There's a Coop logo and there's a Bender logo there as well. Different emojis that you can add in and everything. And our friend Victor O'Neill says, how do I get the fancy FA logo? Well, it's very simple. To get that fancy FA logo, you just got to be a member here. Go to the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page where we're watching right now. And if you look right underneath the video, you'll see a button that says join. And that's $4.99 a month to become a member of the Fantasy Alarm YouTube page. All your questions get immediately bumped to the top of the queue for us. We immediately go in and we answer those questions before anybody else's. And yeah, it's $4.99 a month. You can also do a super chat there, but let's say you're doing 3-4 questions. It just makes more sense to just get that monthly $4.99 membership here. And then, yes, it comes with all the branded logos that we have based on your level of membership. So, and you can use all of these fun little emojis there. So, who can use those fun little emojis? Salty Bag of Nuts, one of our newest members here. Odds to know, Coop, and maybe we start diving into some running backs for waiver wire here. If Jacobs is out, who should I plug my nose and play? Nick Chubb or Isaiah Davis? Even the worst choices on waivers, he can't drop players. So it's a super deep dynasty league. So if you had to choose Chubb versus Davis for this week, who would you add to your roster?
Yeah, I mean that's a scrappy world to live in, man. Because Nick Chubb didn't get a ton of work this week. The thing with Isaiah Davis is he plays a ton of pass snaps, but they don't pass him the ball. Like he very rarely touches the ball. He did against the Bengals when it was kind of a weird game script, but I can't really trust Davis as far as I can throw him, man.
Well, with your bad knee, you shouldn't throw anybody either.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So yeah, we're keeping it close here with Nick Chubb, I think. I mean, that's brutal. Emmanuel Wilson's already rostered, I imagine. Because that's the thing is that Emmanuel Wilson. So when you go through and you weigh these guys, right, you got to think about what your plan is. Again, we're splitting them in half. If you need a guy for this week, Emmanuel Wilson is the odds of Jacobs not playing are higher than the odds of Jalen Warren playing. Jalen Warren came out and said that he would have gone back in the game if circumstances were different. He wanted to go in. They held him out of precaution. So that leads me to believe that like Emmanuel Wilson over Kenneth Gainwell is a play. I'm still adding these guys, both of them, even if Jacobs and Warren are going to play, because who knows? Sometimes these injuries get re-aggravated, and then next week we're using these guys. Or Kenneth Gainwell is also like he's like wide receiver 6 on the season in receptions. Right? Like this guy's getting a ton of targets, so he's useful. But the number one guy for now plus later for me is Chris Rodriguez, just because he's actually come out and become the starting running back for this team. The split was pretty rough for a while there, but then Rodriguez was getting the start. And this past week, he actually got the first 2 full drives to himself with no one subbing in. We watched it while we were live on the show on Sunday morning, Howard. Like, we didn't see Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt until later in the game. J.D. McKissick wasn't coming in for the early pass downs. They just let Chris Rodriguez play for a while, see what he could do. So he's probably the best bet to just outright be a starting running back in the NFL. So he's a priority for me. If you're looking for other streamers in full PPR, Tajay Spears, if he's out there, again, this guy's catching 3 balls every week. If you're playing in a standard league, Devin Singletary, since Cam Scatabo has been out, he's gotten every short yardage touch, and that's included all the goal line ones too. So every 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1, there's been like 17 or 18 of them, Howard, per Nathan Yonke over at PFF. And Singletary's gotten them all. So if you're just fishing for a touchdown, Singletary's the play there. Staff, right? It's like sometimes you got to do that.
Somebody asked me about starting Singletary this past week, and I was just like, I mean, I would much rather his other option definitely played more snaps and touched the ball more. Wasn't productive in any shape or form, but Singletary, popped in there for those little touchdowns.
Singletary last 2 weeks, 2.5 yards a carry, 2.8 yards a carry, but he scored 2 touchdowns. It's like that's his job to go out and get out. His job is to get 2 yards when you need 1. So he's never going to be a high yards per carry guy in this role, but if you're fishing for touchdowns, that's where you go. For stashes, Bashal Tutin, he looked really good. He was splitting the early work with Travis Etienne. Of course, we can't have nice things, right? He rolls his ankle. He just immediately rolls his ankle. It's like, wrong kid died, So now he's back to being a stash, but I want to have him on my team if I can because he looks good and he could be. Like we saw Liam Cohen do it last year. He got no loyalty to these guys. Whoever's playing better gets the work. That's how Bucky Irving took over. So maybe Tootin could do the same thing. And then it's just the regular handcuffs. Brian Robinson Jr. is playing a little bit lately with Christian McCaffrey catching so many balls. Tank Bigsby, Blake Corum, go through the list. That's what we're doing. So that's the list at running back.
All right, you guys can find these articles over at fantasyalarm.com. Coop's got his waiver ad, which also has the tight end yin yang rankings for the week in there. The stashes article and the streamers for the week, that's behind our paywall. So do yourself a favor, fantasyalarm.com/YouTube. And that gets you 50% off your first month, right? It automatically populates the code YT50, but you can jump in over there and join the family, because when you join the family, you're playing like a champion. And, that's something to be said. And you know what? In honor of that, Coop, I want to also announce our new partnership. With one of our absolute favorites out there, ladies and gentlemen. It's actually quite lightweight.
Yeah.
It
Well,
is.
the chain's solid though. I will
The
say
chain is definitely solid. Look at that fantasy football champion here. Because let me tell you guys
I got
something.
mine
When
hanging
you
right here.
are with the Fantasy Alarm family, you play like a champion. So now it's time to look like a champion too. We're proud to announce our new partnership with USA Sports Fan Chains to help you look like the champion you are or that you will be. Oh, where'd you go, Coop?
Go get my chain.
Oh, he's going to get his chain right there. So now we got to look at a picture of John and Pemba here in the middle of all of that. Oh, see, Coop's got one too. Look at that. See?
Ah,
Here you
good
go,
for you.
people. All right, get one for yourself, or I'll tell you what, get one for your league. Pass it around each year. These chains are lightweight. They're designed to be bold and eye-catching, ensuring they attract the attention and generate excitement. They're built to move with the fans. See? Easy moving, easy moving. And they're the perfect accessory for anyone looking to show off their fantasy team superiority. And you know you've got that superiority, right? So why not flaunt it? And don't just revel in a championship either. Actually, you can troll your league loser with their all new I Suck at Fantasy Football chains as well. We all know we love to troll. So why not troll the last place person in your league as well? USA Sport Fan chains are absolutely amazing. You can get one for your league today. Let me pop up this QR code for you right there. You can go to fantasyalarm.com/USA chains and give yourself and your league a little bit of swagger, right? That's fantasyalarm.com/USA chains, because this is more than just an accessory, people. It's a declaration of winning. Get one today.
I love it.
Absolutely. Hit that QR code right there and jump on it. I love this thing. I was wearing this around the house the other day. Yesterday was my wife's birthday, and I'm sitting there and I'm like wearing this around the house, and I'm like, because I'm still freaking out about winning that matchup in the Greenwich Street Tavern League. And she was like, "All right, dude, listen." I was like, I tried to wear it to bed. She had nothing to do with it.
my daughter Lainey wore mine for, I no joke, 8 hours on Sunday. It arrived. No, it arrived and I opened it up and she immediately goes, "That's Lainey's." I was like, okay. Luckily she's napping during the show right now. But yeah, this has been hers. And I'll tell you, the cool thing about this is that like it's very rare for you. It's hard enough to find gifts for people, but it's very rare you can get a gift for all 11 people in your league, including actually all 12, including yourself, right? It's like the champion gets to show up to the draft rocking this puppy or show up to the Zoom or do whatever. It's pretty cool. So a gift
And they've
you give
got a
everybody.
ton of different styles also. Like
Yeah, they
that's
do.
like this is one that they had given to us to just kind of show you guys what they've got. But there are a couple of different styles that they've got, not to mention the I Suck at Fantasy Football one for your league loser. And I'll tell you what, in all honesty, they're much less expensive than the rest of them on the market right now. Like they're a new company. They're just starting out. 100% vouch for them. They are fantastic people, and they understand that, you know what, fantasy football is more than just. I mean, the game has evolved into something much bigger than just your local home game, right? When you talk about Scott Fishbowl, when you talk about so many of the charity leagues that everybody does, I mean, it's one of those things. So, you know, we sit there and in my Jam On Fantasy Football League, we crown the champion every year at Set Break at the show of the choice. So if you're like a jam band person and you know the Disco Biscuits or Humphreys McGee or Fish, like you've seen us get trophies on stage at Set Break during these shows. Well, guess what? We're also wearing chains. It's chains, it's trophies, it's everything you could possibly want. Do yourself a favor.
Go big.
USA Sports Fan Chains. Go to fantasyalarm.com/USA chains and get yourself one today. Get it for you, get it for your league. Trust me, you need that swagger. You need that swagger.
More fun, man. Make it your league more fun. So Hope's got one question in here from a member, and then we'll jump in and we'll hit all the ones starting at the top. In my contending Superflex Dino League, I'm hurting with Fields, Jaden Daniels, and Aaron Rodgers. Is it gross to trade Torrey Horton in a late second for Bryce Young? I mean, in Superflex, you get a quarterback.
Gross to trade Torrey Horton? No, I mean, if it's a super
I'm doing
flex,
that.
no, do it. Like if you need
Absolutely.
that QB,
Right. QBs, no matter what. I mean, it's very rare to get a quarterback in Superflex league for not for a first round pick. And I mean, Torrey Horton definitely his value takes a little bit of a hit with the Shaheed trade there. So I'm doing that one. Even though I still like Horton long term, like you got to get quarterbacks. The guy just threw for 450 yards this week.
yeah. All right, back up to the regular questions here, Coop. Mateo's in the house. He says he's got offered Chase for Henderson. I'm assuming that is, I don't know, is that Chase Brown or Jamar Chase for? Oh, it's Jamar Chase probably for Henderson and Olave.
Yeah.
Giving up too much. I was thinking of countering Hall and Olave for Chase.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Henderson and Hall probably not too far off. Ramondre's gonna come back at some point. Just keep that in mind that he's still going to play enough. I think that I would rather have Chase do whatever you can. If you prefer Hall and Olave, then try that first. But I still would do Henderson and Olave for Chase. Like I'm just trying to get Jamar Chase on my team, especially if you because here's the thing: you're gonna miss 1 week of Chase this week while he's suspended, but you're gonna miss a week of Henderson in week 14 when he's on bye. So it's I think it's even enough. Give me Jamar Chase.
There you go. All right. Jerry Nelson's in the house saying hi to Greg, who's in there, who's saying hi to Jerry. And Dunn decided she wasn't going to be
Gang
late
banging.
today. So we appreciate that. And whatever's in the house here, and for a streamer QB in week 12, Flacco or Brissett or others. Perfect time, Coop, to dive into some quarterback conversation.
Yeah, Flacco. I mean, Flacco's rostered in over 60% of leagues. I'm not sure I'm super pumped on Flacco without Chase this week going up against the Patriots. I think I'm just going for Jacoby Brissett. I mean, we were a little worried about what he would look like without Marvin Harrison Jr. He was even better, right? It's like Marvin Harrison Jr. Nothing goes right for this guy. How are you gonna get fired on your day off? Like the team is just much better when he's not in there. I don't know what's going on with that guy, man. But like Jacoby Brissett came out through for like 4, and he had the most completions quarterbacks ever had in a game ever. So like, and now like take the outlier big part of this game out. That's another game, 5 in a row with 250 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. We're talking 23 points minimum in every one of these games for Brissett. Every game he started, 5 straight. Like this guy's not just a streamer, man. This guy for me in some of my leagues, like that's just my quarterback now. So that's where I'm at with Brissett. Definitely him over any other options. Now, if Flacco and Brissett are picked up, well, then you're in a absolute world of nightmarish hurt because this is maybe the worst streaming QB week I've ever seen, Howard. It is so bad out there, man. The decent options have terrible matchups. A lot of the guys are just hurt, like, and you can't start the backups. Like, you're not going to start Cousins. You're not going to start Tyrod Taylor. It is bad out there. It's real bad. Trevor Lawrence, if he's available, is probably your safest and best bet. The game scripts haven't been good for throwing, but they've been winning a couple of these games. He's also run himself 5 times in each of the last 3 games. Like, we don't love going with Trevor Lawrence, but I'm telling you, it gets so ugly out there because with all these bye weeks, so many quarterbacks have been picked up and people aren't dropping them. You know what I mean? It's like there's nothing out there right now. It's a really ugly week.
What about
I guess,
Mason Rudolph going up against the Bears? They don't have a great secondary. I know it's Mason Rudolph.
but yeah, no, that's the thing is, it's not crazy.
Or
It's
better
really,
yet,
it's like
Bryce Young.
Bryce
Monday
Young.
Night
So
Football against San Francisco. We just watched what Brissett did against San Francisco. It's not the same defense.
not the
And
same
it's
defense.
almost like, when you kind of look at it with that San Francisco offense and how potent it is right now, firing on all cylinders, the opposition is going to have to just keep throwing. Like they're
Right.
going to have to throw if they want to stay involved in these games.
Yeah. And not to mention with San Francisco, they lost Fred. Actually, also just lost the guy that was filling in for Fred Warner, Tatum Bethune. They wouldn't even give us tackle monster props on this guy. I kept looking because this is what he's had 10 tackles, 10, 14, 6, 10 combined tackles. This week, high ankle sprain. So now they're down to their 3rd middle linebacker, man. 49ers defense is no longer a good defense without they lost Hufanga in the offseason. Fred Warner gone. I mean, so yeah, Bryce Young, not a crazy play. It's just every time that Every time I think he turns the corner, he turns back into something.
Yeah.
Last year, he had a really good stretch down the end. And then last guy, you got to mention his name. We mentioned him last week too. Look, Shadur Sanders in those super flex leagues. Let me ask you this: if you're in a super flex desperate, like myself, for instance, I have Justin Herbert on bye this week. Would you go for Kirk Cousins or would you go for Shadur Sanders?
I would go for Kirk Cousins
Me
against New
too.
Orleans.
That's what I have to. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's Kirk over Shadur for the Superflex leagues.
Shador in Las Vegas? No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Victor Ornelas, who's again gonna soon to be a member, so you can get those swaggy little logos there. Hey guys, 1 point PPR offered Pickens for my Justin Jefferson. Weird to even consider this. My other wide receivers are Devontae Adams, Nico Collins, DJ Moore, Jamison Williams, and Cortland Sutton. So my personal feeling about this is that it's a great offer, but you have enough depth at wide receiver that I'd rather wait to see if Jefferson and McCarthy click than to go for George Pickens, who just had a better matchup than CeeDee Lamb last night.
No, he did. So, and the thing is, the matchups are really good for Jefferson if they can figure it out. I mean, it's Washington. What is it? Washington, Dallas, then the Giants. That's like the playoff stretch, and then the Lions, which the Lions, they run a lot of man to man. You never know; you could pop off against them. So I'm holding Jefferson.
Yeah, me too. Greg says rough weekend, but yes, thank you. Yep, those prop picks for underdog actually really worked out and definitely saved the day on that one. Tingley's in the house here. Gadsden on a bye. Pick up Juwan Johnson, Mason Taylor with Tyrod Taylor starting. Fannin or Theo Johnson. So kind of some interesting options here, Coop. Now, you just did all the waiver wire stuff for tight ends. You've got your yin-yang rankings out, so I will see myself out.
Yeah, that's the other great thing these are for. They're just big enough to hide your whole face. I'm telling him to update the pictures on the website, Maddie, because it's like it makes them look like little medallions and little tiny necklaces. These things are big dogs. You know what I mean? Like we got to get a picture of you on there, Ben. They're flaunting this thing. But yes,
picture of my face right here. Nobody needs that.
Well, you just got to get something on the site that shows how robust these things are. But yeah, here's where I'm at with the tight end. There's one guy, just like with Alec Pierce at wide receiver. If Juwan Johnson was dropped for his bye week, I'm adding him because this guy basically hurt his ankle against the Bills and had 3 down games in a row where he didn't look healthy. In every other game, all 7 other games. So he had 3 down games. All 7 other games, double-digit PPR points, right? Like he's running a ton of routes. No matter who the quarterback is, they're looking his way. Juwan Johnson, for me, is the guy. I know he doesn't have a great matchup this week with the Falcons, but I mean, Bryce Young just threw for 450 yards against the Falcons. They're not the same defense without Divine Diablo. So Juwan Johnson's the guy for me. The next best streamer I would just throw Harold Fannin in there. I would just throw him in there and say, what if we catch lightning in a bottle here? Mason Taylor, Tyrod Taylor was better for Mason Taylor than Justin Fields was, but I want to see it one more time here because he did not look good last week. And then Theo Johnson will be ranked ahead of Fannin for me if Jackson Dart plays. So we got to see what's going on with Jackson Dart first. But right now on the wire, it's Juwan for sure, followed by Fannin and then Theo. So those are kind of the streamers. For stashes, nobody out in your wire right now has more upside than Darren Waller, in my opinion. So, like, if you can throw him on the bench, hopefully he comes back from this pec injury. He's on bye right now. Like, somebody out there was asking me, they said, I have George Kittle, and he has a week 14 bye. Who's the best stash? I was like, hey, why don't you try Waller out? He's on bye this week. Then he faces the Saints. You can watch one game against the Saints, and if things work out and he looks good, he's back and he looks good, then you could start Darren Waller the following week with a good matchup against the Jets, right? So, like, we're stashing Waller. We're also, you can potentially stash Brenton Strange. That's another guy that, when he was healthy earlier this year, 4, 5, 7 targets. Who knows what the target pecking order is going to be like. So Brenton Strange could be back soon. Those are the stashes. It's kind of gross out there too.
All right. Greg says Radcliffe said stay away from. Well, listen, we don't need to know what any other analyst says. We've got our opinions here. It doesn't matter what any other analyst says about it, because you know what? They're right about stuff. I'm wrong about stuff. I'm right about stuff. They're wrong about stuff. I don't think you need to stay away from Michael Wilson. I think, you need to watch what's going on with Marvin Harrison Jr. Am I expecting 18 targets a game for him if Marvin Harrison is out? No, I'm definitely not. But if Marvin Harrison Jr. is out, I'm still interested in Michael Wilson.
Right. And Michael Wilson's also not our top ad. He's just a guy along the way, the string of things. He's a guy you got to know. So that's why we put him in the article, and we let you know what we're looking to drop on this guy.
All right. Chris Braden says, is Ayuk worth stashing? I've stashed him all year, but it's getting to the point that I need to use this bench spot. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, my concern is this. That team uses a lot of 2 wide receiver sets. I think that Juwan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall are those 2 wide receivers. And when Ayuk gets back, he will probably be the third fiddle for at least a couple games. Think TJ Hawkinson when he returned from his ACL last year, how he wasn't cracking 60% of the snaps. So Ayuk at this stage is becoming more and more droppable, because when he comes back, you can't start him for his first game back. You don't know if he's going to go right into that full-time role. And because of all the fullback and blocking tight end usage, that wide receiver 3 role for the 49ers sucks. Like, it's not a good role for fantasy. So, like, it's a scary spot for Ayuk. I'm only stashing him if I have an IR spot.
All right. Member question here from Fred says 12-team half-point PPR. He's got Dart and Daniel Jones, Purdy as his QBs. Who should I drop for a waiver wire stash like Jaden Higgins, Jaden Reed, or Luther Burden? Do you only have is it a single QB league? If it's a single QB league, where do you drop there?
Yeah, well, he needed Purdy for last week because Dart was out and Dimes was on bye. So it makes sense to have them all.
I mean, I don't want to drop Dart. And I'll tell you what, Purdy, now that he's got all these weapons, kind of intrigues me. I might just say goodbye to Daniel Jones, even though he's got that rushing upside.
Yeah, Daniel Jones has been so good, though, but Dart has been even better. Dart's been even better. If this is a 6-point passing league, you have to keep Purdy. If it's 4-point passing, I might just keep Dart and Dimes. I might just keep Dart and Dimes and drop them for Jaden Higgins. But honestly, you might have to just hold these guys and protect them from your league mates. And because you don't want to give your league mates a really good starting quarterback either.
Yeah, that is definitely.
I don't know. I think I would just hold on to 3 quarterbacks and just tell everybody.
Yeah, if you don't need these guys to start, then you know what? Yeah. I don't see. Listen, I like Higgins, I like Reed, I like Burden, but are these guys going to end up like, are they going to turn around and become like a high-end wide receiver 1? No. I mean, if they're like 4th or 5th or 6th on your depth chart for your team's wide receiver, then I would much rather keep the QB away from the rest of my league.
Yeah. Right. Higgins is probably the closest to actually just being able to find that upside, but Burden needs someone to get hurt. And Jaden Reed's always been a part-time player. I don't know why that would change.
Fred also wants to know for a 12-team half-point PPR, is Ted McMillan an auto start moving forward at wide receiver 3, regardless of matchup, over Pearsall?
It's a pretty bold proclamation. I wouldn't say all that necessarily, Fred. But I would start Ted McMillan over Pearsall this week. Pearsall's got to get up to speed. He was clearly very rusty. I did like seeing that he ran 41 routes, which was the same number as Juwan Jennings. Those guys are back to being the 2 guys, but he's clearly rusty. So right now, Ted's definitely over him. I would stop short of auto start and regardless of matchup, though.
Chris Braden wants to know, is Stroud most likely out with the short turnaround for the Texans this week?
Yeah,
sounds like you might be. Yeah,
estimated as a non-participant on Monday. I mean, if he doesn't practice today, that's the equivalent of still being in concussion protocol on a Friday, right? Which, like, whenever that happens, we say not happening. So if he's still in concussion protocol today, then we'll assume he's out.
Chris says he's got 0 fab left in the league, so he's not going to get a guy like Wilson. He needs deep sleepers. Well, we're diving through all the injury news right now. We'll have
Yeah.
some deep sleepers for you, but yeah, there's nobody that's
Yosivas,
yeah.
Kadero Hodge, right?
Okay.
That's where we're at. I'll tell you this, and I mentioned this on a Reddit comment just real quick. Somebody was like, "Hey, man, like I've noticed you never really have guys that were dropping the bag on these articles. It's always saying drop $0, $5, sometimes 10, 15." He's like, "What's with that, man?" And I was like, "Dude, if you follow the advice of these articles, some of these articles, you're gonna have no money left in week 3 every time." And I went back through my articles. I have on a handful of occasions said drop 50 to 100% of your budget. We said it when on Trey Benson when James Conner was hurt. We said it on Woody Marks in week 5, and I said it for Daniel Jones. After a couple weeks of saying pick him up for 0 to 5, I finally said you got to add this guy now. But like, you can't go out and drop the bag every week. You can't. You only get to do it once or twice. And throughout the season, I've said to do it 3 or 4 times. So you probably have. But like some of these articles every week I see, they're like, yeah, drop the bag every week. It's like that's not a real thing. So that's how you end up with 0 money.
There you go. Jerry Nelson wants to know, drop Flacco to pick up Brissett.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes. Brissett's awesome. And Joe Burrow wants to play. And he'll play when he'll find a way to play.
Lex plant some trees. Would y'all drop any of Dak, Dart, JCM, Monangai, or Brian Robinson to pick up Emmanuel Wilson, Sean Tucker, Michael Wilson? All right, so I would here you go. I have no problem dropping Krosky Merritt.
Yeah.
And if you don't have Swift, I'm okay with dropping Monangai also. If you're adding Emmanuel Wilson's the guy I would add there, right? With Jacobs banged up. And then I'm looking like Mooney, Gainwell, Wilson, Tootin. I'm not looking at Sean Tucker this week, and I'm definitely not looking at Chris Rodriguez.
No, Sean Tucker, expiring asset with Bucky coming back. And again, I wouldn't necessarily do that unless you're starting Emmanuel Wilson this week. If you're starting Emmanuel Wilson this week, then drop JCM for him. Otherwise, I'd drop JCM for Chris Rodriguez because that's the starting running back for that team. You know, why would you hold the backup of the starting running backs on waivers?
Yeah. All right, here we go. Target Marshawn Lloyd now.
Is Marshawn Lloyd he's just a figment of our imagination? Is he not? I have never. Yes. Is there news that Marshawn Lloyd is going to play?
No, I don't think there is.
I haven't heard a damn thing about Marshawn Lloyd. Never seen him play.
Yeah, would not target him. Not at all. Chris with the bad knee comment. Yes, it was a Ferris Bueller day off. Just like Coop with the Friday comment there well. Brendan is in the house here. Would you roll with Mahomes fighting for a playoff spot, or would you trade him and Hampton for Lamar and Bigsby with that soft schedule? I got 4 running backs to start max, and I have ETN, Benson, Swift, Chase, and Saquon.
So basically here, I mean, like for all intents and purposes, you're trading Mahomes and Hampton for Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I want to do that. Because Bigsby, well, actually, I mean,
you got Saquon. You're getting the handcuff there.
Pretty loaded at running backs. You know what? Go for it. Go for Lamar.
Dude, Lamar coming up next 4 weeks. It's the Jets, the Bengals, the Steelers, and then the Bengals again. And then he's got your Patriots.
And they're in like must-win mode to try and, they have to go out and win these games. So yeah, go for Lamar. Do it.
Michael Regine, I really don't like to hold 2 tight ends. I've got Loveland and Brenton Strange on my IR. If he comes off and he plays well, should I drop Loveland?
Absolutely. I mean, that's exactly why you're stashing him, right? That's exactly why you're stashing him. Because Loveland, they're hesitant to give him a full-time role. Happens all the time. Doesn't mean Loveland's not a good player and not a good dynasty player. Same with Luther Burden. They just no reason to give him a full-time role. I mean, at least he's playing. Trey McBride wasn't playing at all behind Zach Ertz, and turns out he's awesome. So, like, in redraft, those guys don't need to be held. In dynasty, they do.
Did I miss this question here from Hope? Contending Superflex?
No, I read that one.
You got that one already? Okay, good. Just making sure. Sure. Ann Dunn wants the kitten behind me. You can't have her.
Can't have it.
How you feeling about the Bucks D for a stretch run?
Yeah. So why not just hit the defenses quick? If you're looking for a streaming defense, If the Browns are out there, you start the Browns against the Raiders. But if the Browns aren't out there, you start the Raiders against the Browns. I don't care that they're a bad team. It's sure they're Sanders' first game, like whatever. Max Crosby's going to get him. He'll probably throw another pick. He threw one last week, so that's the move. For stashes, there are a few good options. My question, like when you're stashing, look and see how your schedule lines up with if you're keeping two defenses. If you're keeping two defenses, like a team like the Eagles is great, but you're going to need a different team if you're going to make it a championship week because you're not going to start them against against the Bills. The Bucks though have a pretty pure run out here after this week. They play the Rams this week. After this though, Cardinals, Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Dolphins. That's probably the best stash out there. That's probably the best stash. And the Browns are okay too, but the Browns have a couple tough matchups in there too. They face the Bills in there, which is you're going to need somebody else for week 16. So just check your schedule of your main defense. But the Bucks, I mean, they jive with anybody. So they are probably the best stash.
All right. Ethan Batterman says he's 3-8. Not much hope left. He was offered Breece Hall and James Cook for Garrett Wilson and Chase Brown. I feel like it doesn't matter, but I'm technically not out of it yet. Well, considering we don't know if Garrett Wilson's going to be coming back at all, right? We also don't know if they're going to bench Breece Hall at all at the end of the season. So it's kind of like James Cook for Chase Brown for me, and I want James Cook.
Yeah. So he'd be giving up Garrett Wilson?
He'd be giving up Garrett Wilson and Chase Brown
to get Breece Hall and James Cook. Yeah. I mean, well, the thing is, if he loses this week, he's done.
Yeah.
Right. So you want to be on the Breece Hall and James Cook side?
Yes, that's the side that I want.
Yeah, for sure. Fully agree. I don't know why I thought for a second you were on the other side. Yes, be on the side with the players that are playing if you're 3-8.
All right, let's rapid fire it here. Get some comment on Chris Braden says, does Tyrod Taylor have any value in Superflex?
Every QB does because you have to factor in blocking your opponents too.
Yes. Ethan Batterman, need a tight end. Do I go Musgrave, Smith, Fant, Mayer, Sanders, or Brock Wright?
They say they want to get Musgrave more snaps. It was really disappointing that last week. I would actually start Brock Wright. He got pretty good usage, got a few targets.
All right. In the family league, my quarterbacks are Penix, Goff, and Mac Jones. Only QBs on the wire, Cousins and Rudolph. Try to get them both. It's a super flex league, and so, yeah.
Got to. Yeah, you got to. Go for Cousins first, though.
Yeah. So if no one has Fab left and someone gets Cousins over me, does one consider Sanders in a super flex? You have to.
You have to because
great.
Unless you have like a bunch of superstars that you can start, you got to go with the quarterback. Even Rudolph too. Even whoever.
I just gave up Trey Benson for Kenneth Walker. Thoughts on that?
Kenneth Walker finally scored. Yay. And Mike McDonald did come out and say that he realizes that they need to give him the ball more. So I think that's a even enough trade, but we don't know when Benson's going to be back, so I'd rather have Walker.
Yeah, exactly. Redraft PPR, trade Charbonnet for Gadsden. I only have Loveland. He's got Achane, Judkins, Rashad White, Mason, Spears, and Sharbs.
Yeah, I would do that. I would do that for Gadsden because you're not really going to start Sharbs much. And Sharbs probably does go back to getting the goal line carries. That was a very specific situation where they didn't have time to sub guys out, but I would rather have Gadsden.
Also just traded Tyler Warren, Jacoby Myers, and Kenneth Walker for Jamar Chase. I have Henry, Barkley, Kittle. It's a consolidation trade. It's good stuff.
For sure. Who'd the other person drop? Go see if they dropped anybody good and add them. You got two waiver spots, two roster spots.
Two stocks in the house. Waiver pickup, Booty, Tucker, Browns D, Dortch, half-point PPR.
I mean, if you're going to start the Browns D this week, then that's the priority. I don't believe you would start any of those other guys, really. Keyshawn Boutte would probably be the best start of the other options.
I've got Kittle, stash Kincaid or Waller for week 14.
Kincaid gets the Bengals.
Yeah. Yes. Trade deadline is tomorrow. I like my team, but the only player I have doubts on is Justin Jefferson. Should I try to trade him or just hold him? Hold him. What are you going to trade him for?
Right.
For a bag of beans? Like, that's like, what are they going to offer you for a guy who has a quarterback who nobody likes anymore?
Right. If you can pair Jefferson with another player to trade up to JSN or Puka or upwards, then do it. Don't sell low on Jefferson. There's no reason to sell low.
Tyrone Tracy, Trey Benson, or Quinshon Judkins rest of season?
Trey Benson for me. And followed by Judkins and then Tracy. Tracy as the running back for the Giants that doesn't get the touchdowns is, what even is that role?
Yeah.
That's terrible.
When will Judkins be back to form, or is this what we're getting? It's the Browns, dude.
The Browns,
what were you expecting?
Right. And they like Dylan Sampson and Jerome Ford on the pass downs for some reason, which is kind of annoying. But Judkins is a good player. Show a terrible team.
Cut the Falcons defense and snag the Bucks for the next couple of games using the Browns this weekend. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes.
You got the Browns against the Raiders and then Bucks rest away. That's how you do it, Victor. That's how winning is done.
Do it. Got offered Debo for Michael Wilson. Other wide receivers, Sutton. I would definitely do that deal. I would get Debo for Michael Wilson.
Snap, accept Debo there.
Smash the accept button there, and smash it.
Debo's been good.
Annie Coopy says, if we're wearing chains, we must go shirtless. Annie Coopy, nobody wants to see me shirtless. Come on.
Rules are rules. Shirts off, tops off, pop them. Tops off, boys. Let's go.
Greg Martinez says, I got major studs at quarterback in my Superflex. JJ, Fields, Kirky, Shador, Gabriel. He's winning this whole thing. Well, if you do, you can get yourself a little chain here from USA Sport Chains. How about that?
That's quite the crew you got there, Greg.
If
you win with that thing, you buy yourself a chain for sure.
There you go. Love that, man. Love that. All right. One last comment. Here we go. Oh, Annie Coopy says that she does want to see me shirtless. Ooh.
Okay, Annie Coopy.
Let's talk about, you know what? I'll direct you to my OnlyFans account.
That's my aunt that you're talking to, okay? So let's settle down.
Should I trade Bijan for Ibuka and Javante? Do you need the extra guys?
I'll tell you, that's an on paper fair trade. So it's entirely based on roster construction. If that's a major upgrade to your lineup and a wide receiver is going from your lineup to your bench, that's terrible, then do it. But otherwise, you're letting somebody else consolidate. So I don't know, but it's a fair trade.
It is a fair trade. High hopes. Scott Fishbowl, drop Dulcich for Brock Wright. I also have Waller.
Yeah, I think I would just to see with Brock Wright because Dulcich is on bye this week. Waller could be back after the bye. Give Brock Wright a look. Well, why not?
All right. Well, there we go. Cleared here we go. Chris Braden says, totally buying the loser chain for sure. We already got a trophy for the winner, but the loser isn't being humiliated enough. The loser is never humiliated enough.
Fact.
Always do it.
Smoke them.
Always. Always.
Good.
I'm already made the playoffs. I want insurance for Henry. Who's the RB to stash in that offense? Keaton Mitchell.
He always was. Because Justice Hill was never going to take over that role. Keaton Mitchell's a good player. So do it.
There we go. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us here on a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday waiver wire. As always, guys, if you need to, what the hell am I doing here? If you need to, check out Coop's stuff over at fantasyalarm.com. You need that waiver wire stashes and streamers article. That is the QR code to zap. Go to fantasyalarm.com/YouTube. It automatically populates the promo code YT50, gives you 50% off your first month. And then, as anybody who's in this room right now can vouch, this pays for itself. It pays for itself, right? And then might also pay for a chain too.
Bingo.
Well, guaranteed.
On the way out, J-Main, we did give the kicker info. It was Badgley if he was dropped during the bye. Otherwise, go for Jake Elliott or Cam Little. So there you go.
There you have it. So that's going to do it for us here on Alarm Fantasy Football. Appreciate everybody tuning in. We will be back tomorrow again. We'll focus on some trades. We'll help you guys out with a number of things. Listen, it's heading into week 12. It's win or go home. That's it. That's it. Coop, any final thoughts?
Yeah, there was a game in Spain this week, so I was kind of thinking we might have to say something like,
Adios, turd nuggets.